Dun, dun, dun. Welcome to Lunch Club. Hello, if you haven't been here before, today we're going to do like maybe more of like a paint and hang. I am going to be honest with you. I've been doing taxes for the last, for a while now, but really going at it for the last like 48 hours. So my brain is fried. But I thought it would be nice. I just kind of hit one of my deadlines for it, and so we'll hang out. So hello. I have your comments up, so if you want to chat or ask questions or talk to one another, I'm excited to hang out. This is a really large painting. I've explained that before, but in case you haven't been here, hey Candace. This is 40 by 25 inches, so it's pretty large, and it's all in watercolor and gouache. And I had a few things that I thought of painting on it today, because sometimes that's how it works for me. I'm thinking about it and changing it, especially with these large ones, a little bit as I go. But how's everyone doing? Candace, how are you? Yeah, so I've been doing taxes. I actually secretly, well, not secretly because I'm telling you, but I personally really like the spreadsheets and kind of like all of the things involved with doing my own bookkeeping now that I have like a solid system. It's taken me a while to get comfortable, but now I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, it's big. It's a big piece of paper. Like I was using QuickBooks for a long time, and maybe this is boring for you. If this is not something you care about, I truly apologize. But I used QuickBooks self-employed for like probably 3 or 4 years and was truly like super unsatisfied with how it was working. Initially, I really liked it because it did help me like, kind of pay attention to money and where it was going and all of that. But I don't feel like the customer service, obviously not a big shock, was great. And like, as far as if I needed help or had questions, there wasn't really anyone on the other end of the line helping me out, so to speak. So that was always kind of a bummer, but Oh, Candace says I'm at the office, hoping no one needs me for the next hour. Yeah. We won't tell anyone. But anyway, so now I'm doing like these really large spreadsheets that I got from taking Hannah Cole's Sunlight Tax, like taking a couple of her courses. And now I'm enrolled in her like 2021 money boot camp, which is expensive. But honestly, I already feel like I get it. Like I get so much more of my finances and what I need to do. And I can't tell if next year, like I might still have her file my taxes for me, but I definitely feel way more comfortable with it, which is cool. It's just wild to me that nobody really like explains how to do any of that stuff, or like it just is intentionally overly complicated, I think. But, and being an artist, it's a different set of circumstances for how you file things and what counts for what. It's not the same as it is for most other people. I did find this green that I made. I'll try and use. I like it. It's like pretty pretty deep green. One sec. Hi, Patty. I was just going to say, sometimes people don't chat, and I totally get that. But if you did feel like chatting, it's always fun for me. Otherwise, I'd just film these and put them up. Hey, Alexa. Let's see. Do we're going to zoom in a little bit. I missed the Red Talk on Friday, getting vaccinated. Need to go back and watch it. I'm halfway vaccinated. Congrats. Hi, Vandana. Hi, Allison. Thanks for saying hi, everyone. Sometimes I'm like, are people here? It's totally okay if no one wants to say hi. Just more like sometimes I'm like, should I just like pre-record these and put them up? I can do that too. Oh man. This feels good to be standing, to not be like highlighting things obsessively. We are here. We are here. Like Horton Hears a Who. Great news. Oh, yeah, definitely. Hi, Allie. Thanks, everyone. I was tripping. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry now, I think. And thirsty. It's weird. Well, full transparency, I would say I started making a real amount of money with all of my freelance projects in 2019, but even then it wasn't like a significant amount of income. And this year was just such a different process for me. And I'm like glad to be getting help from Hannah, but also just like, it's a lot. With different revenue streams, different tax things that you have to like keep an eye out for. It can feel really stressful. This is going to be rose geranium. Oh. Let's see, I'm going to move this up. Doing some side work this year made me realize how organized to be to write off as much as possible. Oh, how organized you need to be to write off as much as possible, I think is what Alexa's saying. Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to, in the moment, be like, this, you know what, this could be a write-off. This is materials, or this is a work meeting or whatever. But finding those expenses later, remembering what they were for, that's like the real challenge. Keeping track of all of it. And I think this spreadsheet, everyone's system works different. Everyone has a system. Finding your system is key, but the thing I'm realizing is like I love doing all of this stuff manually because it forces me to kind of pay attention to how I'm spending my money, what that money spending can be like. And also just on a personal level, like, trying to spend less money and be cognizant of how I'm spending it. Then if I'm doing all of my bookkeeping manually, I don't have a choice. I have to look at my bank statements and be like, oh, that was a lot of takeout for the month of January or whatever. This color is like really vibrating for that camera. Let's see, we're going to move out a little bit. Oh, it's so hard to figure out. All right. I'm going to come back to this goose. Oh, yeah. Make some tea. I was going to make coffee and I realized I maybe had too much. Had too much coffee. I still love these cloud shoes. Thanks, buddy. Me too. Oh, and on top of taxes, which, as if that wasn't enough, yesterday we had an appointment to take Otis in. He's going to have surgery now too for a tumor that they just don't know if it's cancerous or not. And in order to find out, they would have to do surgery anyway. So we're just going to get surgery to remove it, which is ridiculous. I've never spent this much on animal care in my life, which, when it rains, it pours. It is what it is. In an example of that, yesterday morning, I was working out, just regular old Wednesday morning, and Francis was yowling and clearly uncomfortable, and he's pretty dramatic, so I just need you to understand that this is like extra drama. But I like look over and he's like peed and it's like little drops and they're like pink. And I was like, fuck. So we had to take Otis in and we had to take Francis in to get them both taken care of. So that's like on top of me trying to meet deadlines for my taxes. I was like, oh my God, you guys, can we hold it together? It's family. I don't know how people do it. Normally it's like pretty mellow around these parts with pets, but the last like 6 months, I feel like we've just been tripping. I won't even tell you how much money we've paid in the last 2 months to take care of our animals. I will say, like I said before, we almost never pay that much money, or pay money at all. Like they're usually like excellent. So, I just think that's important to note, or for me to remind myself, like, this is not how it is always. In fact, we've been pretty lucky. I saw some of your earlier stuff on Creative Bug, like a promo video, and your style was pretty different, like more realistic. I like both ways. Yeah, I think it depends on what class it is. Like a lot of those classes, I'm teaching like specific skills too. My first Creative Bug classes I did, I was working very like a lot like this, but with watercolor. Also, your pets are your babies. It's true. It's basically like I have 4 children. So there's that. I did a long time ago do a lot of like realism. I haven't done a ton of realistic work in a long, long time. And by realism, I mean where I'm like painting like a realistic scene or something. But I guess my first class on Creative Bug was like 2015, maybe. So that's some time ago. I gave a talk yesterday amidst all this chaos. When I say it out loud, I'm like, wow, the last 24 hours were a lot. To my friend Serena's like community college art classes, which was really fun. She is an incredible watercolorist. I shared her in my stories. And we met because we both were painters in San Francisco for doing watercolor, you know. So I think that's like, it used to be a pretty small group of people. It is still a really small group of people when you get to know it, as far as like artists and stuff here goes. But we did not go to school together, but just at the time there weren't a ton of people working with watercolor. And she is amazing. She definitely does a lot more realism, but she also has these like really beautiful, magical, like washy moments that are incredible. And she asked me to give a talk just about different ways to kind of like actually have a career in the arts after graduating. And both of us have had many conversations about how you don't really get prepped for that when you're in art school. So I was excited to have the opportunity to do that. It was really fun. And I think that I know she recorded it, and I think she will be able to share it with me. And so I'm going to share that with my Patreon peeps. So you can hear me babble about that. Oh, and of course I started my period last night. I just got a host of not great events happening. Not horrible, but also just like wah wah. And then I want to do a little bit. Zoom out. Good job surviving yesterday. Thank you, Patty. I didn't mean to complain. Just a wild 24, so I'm stoked to be here. Stoked to not be doing that. Hi, Claudia. I just feel like when it rains, it pours. I have some fun stuff I'm going to do this weekend. Are you guys doing anything fun this weekend? Or relaxing? I hope you are. I'm going, my sis and I are going to my parents' house. They got their vaccine, their second dose 2 weeks ago. And we're going to go build, well, my sister's partner is a really awesome guy, and he built raised beds for them already, and then he deconstructed them and is going to bring them from Santa Cruz. And I got a bunch of dirt shipped to their house. It's a truckload of dirt. And we're gonna hang out. We're gonna get their garden going, hopefully, which I'm excited for them. They have really great weather for gardening. It's hot. You can get some peppers and tomatoes and stuff going off. Ooh, country skiing Mount Hood this weekend. No big deal. That's great. Be safe. Imagine if you're cross-country skiing, though, you've done it quite a bit. We're going to change views. Put my hand here so I can focus. There we go. Yeah, getting outside is super important, I think, for a lot of people, for sure. I think this all made that very clear. Let's see. Well, I think maybe someone. I want to get back into our garden. Chevy, my dog, really has it out for my raspberry that's finally thriving. Just giving you a run for your money. I always have to like remind Trudy that she's not allowed to go to the bathroom in the garden. But you know, it's fine. Little dog pee never hurt anyone. I'm kidding. I wash my vegetables. I just imagine like when I'm not there though, like all of the feral cats are just like peeing on my garden. Are you winging it with this one? No drawing first? Yeah, I am winging it. I am winging it. Yeah, I got really into like using the underdrawing, like getting into the sketch. And I think what that was doing for me, and this is not true for everyone, I think it's really helpful to have a plan and or an idea. And I do. This one feels like it can be more playful, which I'm kind of excited about. And I've also made a lot of work that's kind of like this in a different way. So I think what I was doing when I went back to using watercolor and then I was using my underdrawing is for my own personal leaning into my need to control things, which is actually not a creative space that I do well in anymore. So I'm trying to let that go and allow myself to just have a good time. Let's see. I'll do this green. Stacy says, I just planted a little garden on our patio. Nice. Lettuce, kale, bell peppers, rainbow chard, parsley, cilantro. Fingers crossed I can keep them alive. I'm making a real effort. Hey, I feel like, you know, I am not a gardener necessarily, but I'm working on it. And I feel like each time I try to do it, I learn how to do it better. So there's that, you know? Like last year when we did our first garden at this house, we were like really winging it. And I was like battling all sorts of stuff. And this year I'm like, this is going to be great. I don't need to control any of this stuff. I'm down for it to be a little wild and a little weird and to get, I don't know, like blur the lines a little bit. Like I think last year I was trying to exert a lot of control. And this year I'm like, whatever. Oh, my garden tour was awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Patty. I shared it with my partner and he was like, oh my God, people are going to think we're nuts. I was like, that's fine. If someone can be inspired to have a chill ass garden, then I think, or to recognize that gardens come in all shapes and sizes. And sometimes you don't have the energy to combat weeds, but you can still have rainbow chard. So I'm going to have, I think, people coming in and out of these like little portals. And to delineate where the water is, I'm going to wait for these pants to dry. And then I'm going to make the pants color, like, I think darker above the water line in order to make it seem like there's a water line. So, or a shadow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm about to start the vanishing half, Candace. Candace sent me Britt Bennett's book, The Vanishing Half, as a gift, which is so nice. And I finally slogged through The New Wilderness, which was a great book. But I just think by the end, I was like, I get it. And I just maybe didn't have the attention span, but I'm back. I finished that and I read, what the frick is that book? Kristen Hanna's The Great Alone. I love Alaska. I don't know if I guess maybe love isn't the right word. I love writing, like when people do writing about Alaska, because Dave and I did a backpacking trip back in like 2010, I think, in Alaska, because his dad was born there and wanted to go check it out. And so I'm kind of obsessed with Alaska in like the way that people are obsessed with horror movies. Like backpacking was beautiful. It was wonderful. I love backpacking, but backpacking there was just like, you felt like you might die. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you about it. Claudia says, oh, I'm halfway through it. You're halfway through The Vanishing Half? I have The Vanishing Half on my list. I'm reading Leave the World Behind, and it's a little nuts. What is Leave the World Behind? I don't think I've heard of it. Let's see what we'll do. Do you like that noise? What? Alaska is our bucket list. Really want to visit. I mean, it is really cool. It's beautiful. And The Great Alone is a 500-page book that I finished in 48 hours. So I would just say that, it's good. It's really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed being in Alaska. It was beautiful. We saw so many grizzly bears. We saw so many just like incredible things, and backpacking there was just like unlike backpacking anywhere else. We've backpacked a ton. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely, it was also like September and it was already like sheets of ice were falling off of my tent in the morning and stuff. So just really, really fascinating. Such a wild place and like so unprotected. And I will say, like, if you don't like, I mean, I don't know who likes it, but there are like scenes of abuse in The Great Alone, like the book. So if that's something you try to avoid, I would avoid that book, but it is really good. I've only been to Anchorage, but the flight there was possibly the most impressive, beautiful thing I've ever seen. Yes. We flew to Anchorage and then we flew up. We took like a smaller plane to go up farther north for our trip. And it was just insane. I have nothing to say except it was absolutely insane. It was really cool. One of those trips where, we talk about it and just talk about like how incredible it was. We want to go back with Dave's dad, or Dave wants to go back. I feel like I could be good on going back just because I feel like I made it out. But hey, it is pretty incredible. I have a list of survival stories, and someday I'll regale you with them. Leave the World Behind is a couple does an Airbnb and the owners show up in an emergency situation, like maybe end of the world. Ooh, I'll read that. I love an end of the world moment because it feels like it's all the time. I just deleted my Audible account and I've only been using Libby and I'm so into it. It's so cool. I really would like to delete my Hulu account, but it also is how we get live sports, and I'm not going to lie, our household needs that. So, Rose Michael says, I did a road trip with my sister from Alaska to Minnesota. It was amazing. Oh, I bet that was really beautiful. Yeah, I feel like the next time I go, maybe I would want to drive because I feel like you miss so much incredible landscape on the way there. It's a little tense right now. Love Libby. I know, Patty, I was thinking about you. I know you love Libby. I think I just got in the habit of using Audible. I don't know. I just only recently downloaded Libby and actually started using it maybe like a couple months ago. And then I felt like I had to keep using my Audible account because I had all these books through Audible and I was afraid I was going to lose them. And then I canceled it and I just was like, forget it. I can rent it on Libby. It's fine. I think the other thing I liked about Audible, and that was hard for me to leave, was that they like suggest books for you. Sometimes I just need people to tell me what to read. But I'm just going to have to figure that out other ways, you know? Alexa says, I did a bike packing trip from San Francisco to Big Sur, but it's made me want to do a longer trip somewhere like Alaska or across the US. Definitely on my list. Oh, awesome. They said supposedly you keep the ones you bought from Audible. Oh, cool. Well, wish they would have told me that a couple of years ago when I was considering quitting. I'm kidding. I'm sure I could have looked that up and like sussed it out, but in my mind, I was like, well, they're all gone. Because I think, you know how they do those, like, it's not like a scare tactic, but they're like, are you sure you want to leave? You'll lose all your credits or whatever. I was like, oh. I really like Goodreads for Bookshare. Yes, I've been using Goodreads. Dave, my partner, doesn't ever use social media. Like, never uses social, doesn't have an Instagram account, whatever. But I signed him up for Goodreads like a couple months ago, and he was like really annoyed, not super into it. But I was like, this is a social media quote unquote type account that I think you're really gonna like because it's all about books, and he loves it. And so we both are on Goodreads. I think that we are the only people we follow right now. And so whenever either of us updates stuff, it like tells us and we're like in the same room. It's pretty hilarious. But yeah, I'll see if I can find you on Goodreads. Would love to see what other people are reading. Yeah, it's so good. I only recently started trying to add people, but haven't quite figured out that part yet. I know. I have 2 Goodreads accounts, one for reading and one for, you guessed it, cataloging my books. Oh, what do you mean? I didn't guess it. Tell me what you mean, Allison. I need some tea. I'm getting thirsty. Let's see. I was about to say you probably actually didn't guess it. Oh, like your own personal library catalog? Are you a librarian? Yeah, I'm impressed. Because I do lose track of what books I have. I am excited. What I like about Goodreads is I can remind myself of the books I've read. Dave's mom is a really good reader. She volunteers with the Friends of the Library on Maui, and she's just like the coolest, and she reads a lot and like will send us books she's read that she gets from like the library sales and stuff. And she keeps a notebook and like writes down the book she finishes, when she finished it, what she thought about it, and all of that, because it's really hard for, it's just hard to keep track of like what you've read and what you haven't read, especially like, there's different covers, or it's been maybe 4 years or something. So like back, remind yourself what you read. I thought that was so cool. Let's see. Maybe what have we done so far? Let's go do. I know what I need. Oh wow, it's already 12:45. Jillian says, hi Jillian. She says, I keep track in my bullet journal, but just the name. Good idea to also read some notes about it. Yeah. I've been using it to keep track of what I read. I want to read, but using it to keep inventory sounds good. Yeah, I feel like I always like to give my books to people when people could come over, and I'll want to give them a book and I can't find it, or I can't remember if I gave it to someone else, which is always annoying. All right. Well, we really nailed it today. Thanks for hanging out. We did some geraniums, worked on this heron, which I think is pretty funny because there's herons on these pants. I'm growing these. I can't remember what they're called. I think they're like crispeda or something, but some flowers. And we got a person coming out of a I don't know, space and time. So, I hope this was fun. Thanks for hanging out. You're the best. I'm sorry I'm a little bit of a space cadet today, but you know how it goes. If you haven't, or if you want more lunch club things to watch, you can check them out on my YouTube. There's last week's lunch club that I did on here. Also, all of the past IGTVs, there's like 60 or 70 of them. And all the ones we've done with Alexis are all on my Instagram at Lindsay Victoria Lee. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you want more content like this, if that's not enough, I have a Patreon, which you can check out in the show notes. But thanks, you guys, for taking time out of your day to hang out. You're the best. I'm going to eat some lunch. I love you. Have a good one.